my fellow mobile gamers. In today's video, we are going to talk about how to run a guild, or some tips and tricks, some suggestions to help you improve your guild and be a
top leader.
What does it take to be a top leader? You know, some suggestions I have. If this video can get 30 likes, I will make a free-to-play series where I will make a complete brand new account on a new server, 100% free-to-play, and we'll do a bunch of free-to-play videos on what to do and how to progress without spending any money. So let's try and get this video 30 likes, my friends. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel already, you should hit the red subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new videos and when I go live, because sometimes we live stream on the weekends or just random whenever. The first thing I'm going to suggest, you want to be a guild leader, you want to be in charge of a guild, okay. The number one thing I'm going to suggest is to create a Discord group for your guild. That is the number one thing, one of the most important things that you're going to need to do, because it just makes communicating and organization so much better. That is your number one priority. If you don't know how to create a Discord group, that's okay. There's tons and tons of videos out on YouTube that show you exactly how to do it. And you're going to want to have like separate channels. So some channels you could have would be like rules, where everyone knows what the rules are, announcements, stuff like a war room where you discuss war and stuff like that. Then you can have a general chat. You could also have some fun things. You could do a channel for people to post their miniatures and talk about the Warhammer story, the lore, whatever you want to do. You can make it fun and interesting, but your Discord is where you're going to get the most interaction from your group, and it's where you guys can really bond and grow as a team. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is having an active alliance. My whole idea is that activity will always be more valuable than power, because you could have a whale come in and spend a bunch of money and they could be a top player, have a ton of power, but if they only log in every couple days or something, it really doesn't benefit the guild, and it's not good. So you honestly have to decide, what do you want your guild to be? Do you want to be a top 10 guild? Are you going to be a competitive guild? Or do you want to just be a casual guild where you guys just talk, hang out, play the game casually? You know, it's up to you. But either way, the number one priority is going to be activity. And then if you want to be a competitive team, then you're going to look for the power. So you're going to want somebody who's active and also strong. But if you're just going for casual, then I would highly suggest activity. But what I usually do was I would suggest 24 hours in activity kick, maybe 2 days. I honestly wouldn't go more than 2 days, because if you have people not logging in for 3-4 days at a time, it can really hurt your team, especially when you have these events going on where you need all your guild members to be participating. So honestly, just try and put something in there, let people know, hey, if you're not active for 24 hours, you have the possibility to be kicked from the group, because we want to have as many active members as possible. Now, a way to make this easier is you can literally just go into your alliance members. I would base it on the ranking. So I would have all the members would be elite, like all the regular members I would have elite. And then I would make my regular members the people who haven't been active for 24 hours or 1 day or more. And that way it's just an easier way to kind of keep track of who's active and who's not. I usually would give like a grace period. So I would say, tell everyone it's 24 hours equals kick. But then if somebody did go and not log in for a day, I would give them maybe a few hours, a little bit of a grace period to log in, because you never know. Sometimes people get busy and it's okay. But after that, I would, just kick all the people who were ranked as members, and it just makes it a lot easier to organize and rank people. So as a guild leader, you're going to have your lieutenants, which I believe you can have like 5 lieutenants, and then you can have council and then elite. Diverse the jobs between everyone. I feel like as a leader, as the marshal of the guild, you don't want to do everything, because you're going to get overwhelmed very fast. If you're trying to do literally every aspect of controlling the guild, It's just going to be too much. So I think a lot of people don't utilize their lieutenants. As the marshal, I believe only one person should be interacting with people outside of your guild. And what I mean by that is deciding alliances, going to war. I believe you should leave that only up to the marshal. Like as a marshal, that's what you should be doing. It's your job to kind of deal with the politics of the game. It's just a lot easier because honestly, you know that your best interest is to have the guild grow and get stronger, and you're not going to screw the guild. I mean, although I shouldn't necessarily say that because I have seen leaders who went crazy and screwed the guilds over. But for the most part, you are the leader. You want to be the leader. You know, you're in that role for a reason. Whereas if you leave someone who is like a lieutenant or a counselor in charge of kind of diplomacy is what you want to call it, or interacting with other guilds, it can be a little tough, a little scary, because you don't know what their real intentions are. There is a lot of snakes in this game. A lot. There is a lot of people who are out there to screw you in this game and will lie to you. There's people in this game who will spit on a cupcake, give it to you, and tell you it is frosting. There is just a lot of people out there trying to manipulate other people and stuff like that. You can't let that get to you. You can't let it happen. You have to stay in control of your guild. You may have someone who's a council and you might be like, oh, you be in charge of diplomacy, and they're talking to all these people and you honestly don't know what their best interest is, and they could be starting wars behind your back and you don't even know. They could be spreading lies and you don't even know. What it comes down to is they're not necessarily as invested in the guild as you are as the leader. I mean, they could just leave the guild at any time and go join another guild. You know, they could cause a lot of trouble and then just leave the guild, go join somewhere else. They could change their name. I mean, there's a lot of ways that somebody can completely disappear and you wouldn't even know who they are. They could start trouble with one guild, and then they could leave the guild, change their name, change their avatar, literally change everything that kind of makes them look personal, and join a different guild, and you wouldn't even know it. You may not even know it, you know, if you don't stay on top of the person. So you got to be very careful with things like that. I definitely think as the leader, you should be in charge of talking to other people. Don't really let anyone else do that. With that being said, though, I definitely think you should leave your lieutenants and your council to focus on the in-game aspects of being a leader. What I mean by that is maybe have one or two of your lieutenants focus on the star map, super resources around the map, and I want you to place the tiles around and focus mainly on that. I don't want you to do anything else. You're going to be the tile person for our guild, and that is what you're going to do. It's stuff like that that you have to really, it makes it easier because one person will literally just focus on one job. It's almost like you have to run the guild as a company, but not a bad company. Don't be one of these bad companies that treats their employees bad, right? You need to be very mindful and thankful of these people and have them each focus on one main role. Let that be their specialized role, so that way they become a master at it. If you have a bunch of people focusing on a bunch of different things, they don't necessarily have the time to invest and become the best at something. I would rather have one of my lieutenants be the best at building tiles and finding resource nodes, finding super resource tiles, and figuring out what void fortresses to capture and all that stuff, as opposed to having him do like 10 different things and have to worry about doing this and this and this. It just gets overwhelming for people. People have a life outside of this game, you know? People work, they do other things. Another good example would be to have somebody focus on the tech stuff. Maybe have one person who focuses on the tech and says, okay, I'm going to go through here and I'm going to look at all the alliance research, and their specific job is to decide on what the recommended tech will be at the specific time. And that's just their job. Their job is literally to go through here and be like, all right, what should we focus on next? Look at what upcoming events you have. Look at all these different things. And again, like I said, it's hard for someone to do that when they're focused on 100 different things. Whereas you have one person and you're like, literally, I want you to just focus on the tech. You are going to be the person who puts the recommended tech in for the Alliance research. That's it. I want you to go 100% ham on this and literally be the best at it and decide what to research and when to research it. And, you know, and you'll be surprised how efficient it will be. It's just little things like that I think people don't take into consideration. They think that everyone should do a little bit of everything instead of differentiating the roles. I think differentiating the roles is a big plus, and it helps the guild out, and it helps with the chaos. Another thing that I want to suggest, and I think this is such a good idea, and I've never seen it implemented in any guild. So maybe if you're still watching this video, which I hope you are, then this is a great thing, right? So have one person in your guild, maybe a lieutenant or a counselor, specialize in guild morale. So what I mean by that is it is literally their job, their only job is to make sure that the morale of the guild is always at tip-top shape. This is going to be the person who interacts with all of your guild members, sends out individual personalized mail. I'm not talking about the mail where you just send mass mail to everyone and you're like, oh, great job, guys, we're doing so good in the events. No, I'm talking about one person whose literal job is to send personal messages to each individual person in the guild and encourage them, give them feedback, tell them what their role is, let them know, hey, if you have any problems or suggestions, you can come to me, and then I will speak with the marshal and let them know. Literally, that's all they do. They don't do anything else. Maybe they send 5 to 10 personal messages to different members of the guild throughout the day. That's literally their only job. They don't have to worry about anything else. Their literal job is just the morale of the guild, and they are focused on keeping everyone motivated, keeping everyone on their toes, letting everyone know what's going on. Okay, for this event we need everyone to be doing this, stuff like that. I'm telling you, things like that will go a long way, and you're probably watching this and you're like, what the hell, this guy's a jackass. What is he talking about? You know what I mean? There's gonna be some neckbeard who comes in the comments and watches this video and says some dumb bullshit. I already know it's gonna happen. But I'm telling you, if you try something like this and you have some things like this in your guild, you will have the most positive, the most happy, the most fun you will ever have in a mobile game or even a video game. You could literally take this tip for any game that has a guild and have different people focus on certain aspects. I think every guild needs it. Every guild should have one person who is the hype man. They should have a hype man who is encouraging people. Personalized messages, not group messages, mass mail to everyone. You want it to be personalized to that person. You want them to feel important, like they matter, like there's a reason they're there, that you appreciate them being there. Too many times I feel like people think, oh, it is a privilege for you to be a part of my guild. You should be happy that you're a part of this guild because we're the top team or whatever. You know, we have the most power. And I think that's such a D-bag way to look at it. It's such a no. You as a leader need to be appreciated that these people are in your guild, because honestly, at the drop of a hat, they can leave and go join somebody else's guild. Just like that. Flash of an eye, at a heartbeat. Before you even know it, they could just leave, go, wash their hands. Doesn't matter. They have no investment to the guild. They could literally leave whenever they want, go join someone else and play with them. You know, while you're kind of the leader and you are heavily invested because obviously you created the guild, you wanted to be leader. and it's a lot different. People really need to take in mind. I definitely think it's a lot of work to be a leader. All right, but this video is going on for a ridiculously long time. I get carried away talking about this. If you still watch this video, if you watch this much of the video, then you are amazing. But yeah, just some small tips. I feel like I'm forgetting some things. There was a lot of things I wanted to talk about. I could talk about this forever. This would probably end up being like an hour-long video because there's just so much to discuss. Where there's just little things that you would have people focus on, like I said. But yeah, I love you guys and girls. Stay happy, stay safe. Peace.